Welcome to a new video series called A New Mindset for Forgiveness. I'm Greg Aitkins. I'm a recently retired certified financial planner. This is the first of 9 videos of about 5 to 8 minutes each on the topic of forgiveness. My objective with these videos is to help others who might be struggling with forgiveness issues. About 4 years ago, I began to write a book on forgiveness, and that evolved into doing a workbook of about 40 pages. Then that turned into doing a workshop, and I've in recent years done a number of live workshops on forgiveness, and have now also written about 50 blog reflections on this topic. And so I believe that for me, it's a ministry that I'm supposed to be part of. My own forgiveness story started actually in childhood when I was the eldest of 3 children in a kind of classically dysfunctional alcoholic family. And, daily life was kind of like World War III with mom. Lots of quarrels and fights and slammed doors and no apologies. Some of you will kind of resonate with some of that. And somehow, by the grace of God, I survived childhood and have managed to forgive both my parents, who both came from long lines of raging alcoholism. So forgiveness in our lives is a big deal. And this is a really tough topic. And most of us just want to ignore it and hope it goes away. And a friend of mine a while ago sent me something that came from a priest colleague of his, and this is called Unforgiveness is the Cause. And so the priest said, when I was first ordained as a priest, I believed that at least 50% of all problems were at least in part due to unforgiveness. After 10 years of ministry work, I revised my estimate and maintained that 75 to 80% of all health, marital, family, and financial problems came from unforgiveness. Now, after 20 years in ministry, I have concluded that 90% of all problems are rooted in unforgiveness. Pretty amazing, isn't it? Then a book I like is called Sacred Fire by another priest named Ronald Rolheiser, and he states it this way: moreover, all of us have been wounded. No one comes to adulthood with his or her heart fully intact. In ways small or traumatic, we have all been treated unjustly, violated, hurt, ignored, not properly honored, and unfairly cast aside. We all carry wounds, we all carry anger, bitterness, and some unforgiveness. So I think an important question for all of us is, are we still suffering from any lingering forgiveness issues in our own lives? I came across a book a while ago by Robert Enright called Forgiveness is a Choice, and I'd like to borrow a little bit from what he wrote. And I want to kind of talk for a moment about what forgiveness is and what it isn't. He quotes a colleague, Joanna North, who's a philosopher in Great Britain, and she defines forgiveness this way: when unjustly hurt by another, we forgive when we overcome the resentment toward the offender, not by denying our right to resentment, but instead by trying to offer the wrongdoer compassion, benevolence, and love. As we give these, we as forgivers realize that the offender does not necessarily have a right to such gifts. So forgiveness is more than accepting what happened or ceasing to be angry. I mean, what others did to us was wrong. Or being neutral toward our offenders. And then, what forgiveness is not, it's not condoning or excusing what happened. What happened wasn't okay. Or forgetting what happened. A lot of people say, well, just forget about it. Well, the fact is, we human beings don't forget about things that happen to us, or justifying the harm that was directed at us. Well, we didn't deserve this treatment from others. Or calming down. Some people just say, well, just calm down and get over it. Well, that's easier said than done. And then another part of the not is pseudo-forgiving. We're saying the words, I forgive you, but it isn't from the heart, it isn't genuine. So I think a couple of questions to consider for us as we wrap up this session is, have we begun the process, or what I call the journey, of grappling with the hurt and pain which may exist in our lives? And question number 2 is, are we willing to want to reconcile all the ill feelings that we might have toward anyone in our past or present lives? And this may include yourself. And then lastly, I want to cite a scripture that you probably will recognize from Matthew 11:28-30. And I have found in my own forgiveness journey, it's been important to seek the supernatural graces of Jesus in the hard work of forgiving others or ourselves. And this is the scripture. Then Jesus said, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy to bear, and my burden I give you is light." So thank you, and we'll see you in session number 2.